was a little bit annoyed after the game, it has to be said. Well, you're watching this, the game was yesterday, but it's still today for me, so I'm still annoyed, basically. I'm still quite disappointed with what I saw. Numerous reasons for my disappointment. First one was how we played. I mean, we were the biggest architects of our downfall. There's no mistake about that whatsoever. Disappointed with the lack of substitutions, and obviously disappointed with Brentford killing the time. It's a hard watch. It really is. I'll get to that in a minute. I understand why they did it, but it doesn't make it doesn't make for a good spectacle. I guess I sort of set myself up for it, really, didn't I, with the rant about Neymar and PSG and how it's not attractive, and that's why more people watch the Premier League, because it's a little bit faster paced and people don't kill time. I guess I sort of brought it on myself that we'd be facing a team who did exactly the sort of thing that I can't stand. Anyway, there we go. What was in our control was how we started the game and how we set our stall out. And I think we did have a tactic for Brentford, and it was quite... Look, it's not just for Brentford, we do it quite a lot. We take the kick off, we hit the ball long, and what we try and do is pick up the second ball. Worked, by the way. Hit the ball long, we picked up the second ball. So basically the advantage of that, I'm telling you what you already know, but let's just run through it anyway. The advantage of that is you're already in the opposition's third. You're in the final third of the pitch, hopefully able to either play a 1-2, get a crossover, something like that. We never play it centrally when we play that long ball to start with. We always play it wide. So we won the ball. I can't remember who won it. Maybe either Antonio or Souček got off and dart up there as well, but I think possibly Antonio won it, and Soufal had bombed up. So pretty much from the outset, we find ourselves in a position where we've got the ball in their half from the sort of crossing position where Soufal might like to play a 1-2 with Bowen and put a crossover. So we got it. We won the ball, defeated the centre-back, find ourselves in the opposition territory. What does Soufal do? Literally makes a 5-yard pass and just gives it to the opposition. They go down, have a shot. I think that was one where they hit the bar. We then went long again. Same thing happened. And then on their second attack, so I think Brentford had 2 good opportunities in the first 3 minutes. We gave them the ball both times. At that point, you do think that somebody in the coaching staff is going to turn around and say, right, this has to stop. Every time they're attacking, we're giving them the ball. Be more precious with the ball. This is why I wondered when we did the review, did we warm up with the ball at all? I don't know. I didn't see it. I just entered my head, were we just doing shuttle runs or something like that? Why did the football seem so alien to us? But it was sloppy pass after sloppy pass. It wasn't just a passing, it was a technique. Just generally, that our ball control was atrocious, really. And you just can't expect to keep giving the ball away and not get punished. And of course, we did get punished eventually. And I don't feel actually us getting punished was necessarily us giving the ball away. I thought the header was poor. But you've got to contest those things. The first time that ball bounces, contest it. If the keeper parries it, contest it. They were just better. They were just quicker, to all things at that point, really. And it does annoy me that, having witnessed all of this, that a substitution is not made. Gio made a great point. There was an opportunity at half-time to make some substitutions. I totally agree. I wrote down so many notes. I wrote down I would have substituted all 11 players if I could, just to make a point. And I'm all for having favourites. I understand managers have favourites. But sometimes you just got to identify, it's not your day, it's not your game. Get them off, do something else. The camera panned at one point to Lanzini and Yarmolenko. I'm not saying they're the answer to all our problems. But it panned to them. It clearly wasn't working for us at all. And I just thought, well, why you not changed it? A penny for their thoughts. A penny for Lanzini's thoughts. He sat there basically doing that. I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. And this one, I'm not sure this one is just on Moyes. It's on the players as well, because I thought Moyes was responsible because of the lack of substitutions, but I thought the players... That's your responsibility as a professional footballer, to be able to kick the football. I mean, it really is. But it wasn't effort. This is not desire. This is not effort. And I guess I'd rather us drop a bit of technique from now and again than us lose our desire and our intent to win. But it was a little bit disappointing on that. And then you get to the... I I guess you can only say the manipulation of the referee. Now, I'm not saying this is why Brentford won, by the way. I think if West Ham had been at their best, if Antonio had been sharp, right, if Soufal would have been on it, if Souček had been on it, if Fornals had been on it, if West Ham had been at their best, we would have beaten that Brentford team. Whether they were time wasting or not, we would have beaten them. So I'm not saying it impacted the result. But as a fan, I've got a couple of messages from people inside the stadium, by the way. And I don't go to game. But by the way, people keep on asking. Gonzo, why you're not at the game? I'm a single dad now, basically. So I've got the kids at home. It's almost impossible for me to, particularly as I live so far away, to get to the games at present. Hopefully that's going to sort itself out. Well, not sort itself out. I'm still going to be a dad in the new year, but hopefully I'll be able to get to some of the games a little bit more. And in fact, I intend on getting to a couple just before the new year anyway. But yeah, I keep on seeing it popping up in the chat, and I can't answer it individually every single time. But anyway, what bloody am I talking about? Oh yeah, the time wasting. It was really frustrating, right? It's funny, actually, because I did make a little clumsy observation. The clumsy observation was very much that Brentford were like Leeds. They're not. Brentford's play in the first half was scintillating, really good. When they're like that, they're good to watch. The Brentford in the second half are terrible to watch. It's awful. It's just awful football. Brentford aren't there to make it a spectacle. Brentford are there to win the game. But with that in mind, I'm not going to start lauding them like they are a massive, brilliantly excellent team to watch. Like they're a breath of fresh air. They're not a breath of fresh air at all. It's quite a familiar, stale, rank odour, to be perfectly honest with you. And I was not impressed to see it at all. I think it's one of those ones, and now I'm not looking forward to playing them again. Fair play, good on them. I think there's a lot of clubs, a lot of fans of clubs are going to be looking at Brentford and thinking, actually, they're my second team. I want them to do well up until the point when their team played them. Then they won't be quite so impressed from as well. And I was really quite surprised, actually, following the comments, the amount of comments I've had from other fans who've already played Brentford and said, yes, this is what they do. They are quite frustrating. So anyway, it was my naivety. I do think they play lovely football, and then they just shut a game down. Bloody annoying though. Bloody annoying. Sour grapes. Yeah. I guess a bit, but I still blame West Ham for that. I guess I'm hoping it does us a favour. I felt it was an important game, because I do believe our next game against Everton is massive, because I think they're very similar in terms of ability. I'm talking about Rafa Benitez and David Moyes here. I think when you're, if you're looking for a manager, those two are great. I'm not suggesting I want David Moyes to go anywhere, by the way. But I've looked at it. I said this when I did one of the Patreon videos. I thought there's a lot of clubs look around, and particularly bigger clubs, and they'll dismiss David Moyes or they'll dismiss Rafa Benitez. But actually, Everton have got it wrong with managers numerous times, and then actually the answer was staring them in the face. Very, very good manager. So I thought it was really important. That's going to be a tough game. I actually think the Everton game will probably be tougher than this game against Brentford. So it's going to be really interesting, and I thought it was very important for us to win this one. It sort of hangs in the balance a little bit, because Declan Rice was clutching his thigh at the end of the game, his hamstring, sorry, and he's going to go away, play at least 2 games, you'd think, and then you've got Antonio. Well, he really needs he needs his feet up for a couple of weeks, but it's not going to happen. So you can only hope that these guys don't get injured. Then you've got players like Thomas Souček, he needs a rest. He really does need a rest. I said a couple of games ago he needs a rest, and somebody put a comments up on there and said he's a professional footballer. He's only played 6 games this season, or whatever it was at the time. What do you mean he needs a rest? And I think that is one way of looking at it, but I think it tells such a small amount of the story, which is, I think, given the international tournaments, I don't think he's had a rest for 2 seasons. I really don't. I think he's just played constantly. Okay, there was a break for COVID, but aside from that, since that's resumed, don't forget how quickly they had to pack those games in when they did Project Restart. Was 2 games a week, and then he's international. Basically, players need a little rest at the moment. I think we've handled Europe well. I'm I'm not going to change my mind on that now. I really don't. I don't know if this performance, if that lack of control of the game and control of the football in the first half against Brentford was a result of Europe. I think it was a little bit of that. I think it was a little bit of maybe a complacency, a little bit of something from the manager. I think maybe it all went together and meant we weren't going to win the game. And these small parts are important, which obviously goes towards Brentford winning the game, which is, in the first half, they played brilliantly. They attacked brilliantly. Well, that's not enough. They've also got to defend resolutely, which they did. And then they've got to run the clock down a little bit as well, which they did. So all the factors go towards winning, and I just felt there were a number of factors that went towards us losing. That being said, absolutely sickening blow to lose it in the to lose that in the second half like that. And it's quite ironic actually, because I'm teaching my son to juggle at the moment, and I basically teach him hand-eye coordination, how to catch a ball, and all the rest of it. And literally, we did some juggling this morning, and he's up to 3 balls now. And we're trying to get him to start juggling 4 balls and whatnot. I was just saying this will be really good for you. So it'll improve your hand-eye coordination and just peripheral vision, all that stuff. So I couldn't believe it when I just saw Fabianski, a ball that height, not coming out quickly. 1 ball, not 4, 1. Just catch it. And when I said the comment in the review, there were so many people in the comment section who were saying, well, goalkeepers don't catch these days, and the standard of goalkeeping is really low. And I thought, actually, I hadn't really given it much thought. And you're right, such a simple skill, a schoolyard skill, right? Honestly, as boys and girls, it's what we were playing around as, whatever the case may be. In the playground, it's almost the first sporting thing you learn to do, aside from run, is catch. And I thought, well, you know, this is not good. And it's such a fundamental thing. It's surely harder to train yourself to do that than it is to catch it. All your instincts growing up are to catch it, right? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. But in the same way that I don't blame Brentford's play acting in the second half for us losing the game, I don't really blame Fabianski's refusal to catch it for our losing the game. It is directly, you can trace that back to his mistake. But I mean, overall, I still think if West Ham had done everything right, we would have won that game comfortably. I really do. I just think there were so many component parts went into us fluffing our lines, basically. Anyway, really disappointing. Absolutely gutted. Sorry, bit of a rambly, whingy video. It's because it's not the next day. I've not had a night's sleep. I'll do tomorrow's video. Hopefully, will be a little bit better, a little bit more reflective. I'll probably even remember to ask it to download the OneFootball app or something like that as well. I'll be back to my normal self. But I was gutting, absolutely gutted with what I saw then. I know you all were. Yeah, terrible. Anyway, I'll catch up with you tomorrow.